Know this. Introducing the original blood clot podcast, not players. Soothing semantic. Special dedication. All the way from New York. Boom. Yeah, man. SWOT semantic. Yeah, me know. Boom. Soothing semantic. Yeah, me know. Big ups to the man now. Soothing semantic.
This is another episode of Soothing Semantics. I am your host, Rafi Pinsky. Make sure to subscribe, like, share. So today, boys and girls, dogs and cats, we have a very special guest in the Airbnb space, something that I haven't done yet. I was recommended to her by a very good friend and colleague of mine, David Baez, who, as soon as I had some questions about Airbnb with a client of mine, he said, definitely message Melissa. She knows a lot in that regard. Follow Melissa's content. What's the name of your Instagram?
Melissa_sells_954.
Okay, we're going to post it anyhow. It'll pop up. So now that we're talking about Airbnb, how did you first off, you moved from Chicago.
Yes.
So let's backtrack a little bit from the beginning instead of
Yes.
just getting into Airbnb. What brought you from Chicago? And you're welcome to talk about your backstory, your
Okay.
family story,
Sure.
if you want to.
I was escaping an abusive relationship and wanted to just get away from all of that. My mother lived in Florida before I even decided to move away. So got on the train, got on the flight, and never turned back. So I had to start all over with my son. But backtrack in Chicago, I mean,
You literally had to physically escape it? You had to just
literally in the
run.
middle of the night. So, I struggled. I lived off the government. I had to rely on the government to help me pay for daycare. And I'm not ashamed to talk about any of this.
Well, can we quickly interject? Jackie,
sure.
do you want to come on the screen?
Oh,
And just, you'd rather not? She's like, I'm
like,
good.
no.
Leave that to me. I just wanted to congratulate the both of you again on your engagement.
thank you.
I wish you many, many years till the end of time of happiness, health,
you.
success, and everything.
She put a ring on it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, Jackie's in the background, but she's
She's
being
here.
being a little shy.
She's my number
good.
one fan. So yeah, and it was a struggle. And then I moved to Florida because I had to start all over. Didn't have a job. So, working 9 to 5, and needing to still make ends meet. So I would have to clean toilets, clean office with my son watching me. And literally just trying to make an extra $25 a week just so I can pay my rent. And I remember looking up at him and saying, this is not going to be our life, And so, yeah, I, ever since then, I started working for corporate, found a great job, very successful at it. Top producer at AT&T. Well, it was Bell South before, making great money, But of course, I was never satisfied with just that. And years later, I met Jackie, who is and was a real estate agent prior to me. And I would never forget, she had an appointment to meet with a client. And she's like, come with me. And I'm like, well, I'm not an agent. Like, I can't go with you. But she's like, no, come. Like, they won't know. Like, just come join me. So sure enough, I went with her. And I was the one doing all the talking. And I closed the deal. So, yeah. That's what actually brought me.
Yeah, after that you were sold.
I was sold on real estate after that.
Okay, that's a great story.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so you were doing the real estate before. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then so what happened from there? You started real estate. You joined Keller Williams, I imagine. That was the first company?
Actually, no. I didn't join right away because I was a branch manager at Wells Fargo.
Okay.
That was the next corporate job I had, and I was invested with them because, again, it was also great money, and I was also doing really good there. And it's all I knew was to be with a 9 to 5. Like, I wasn't going to take that leap of faith and just jump to do real estate, because it's like you're only relying on commission at that
So
point.
tough to do that, to switch
Yeah,
over.
and when you have kids, you can't,
Sure.
So I will never forget, I was at a funeral for my aunt who passed away. And, this company that I gave my all to called the funeral and literally was investigating to make sure I was there. And so at that point, I'm like, this is crazy. Like, they're in my life, my business, And I had the final straw when I came back and I had to miss my daughter's first kindergarten graduation because they wouldn't let me go.
I think you mentioned this on Thirsty Thursdays.
Maybe I did.
That's what it's called, right?
Thirsty Thursdays.
Okay.
Well, it's not Thursday, but we're thirsty.
Okay,
today.
well, let's just give a little explanation here. So when I first reached out to Melissa, she told me to join her live on Instagram, and she has a very, very cute idea. It's called Thirsty Thursdays, where she has her wine, and all the other girls in the thing have their sweet wine. I mean, the guys could have their red wine or whatever, but I just didn't put together any wine at the time. But yeah, so Melissa kind of just lets you see her personality and also gives the whole Airbnb conversation.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Yeah.
Okay, go on. I was just
So-
wanted to explain it.
I forgot what I was saying.
You were talking about starting real estate, like with the company.
Yes. So I missed my daughter's
And you were
graduation.
yes.
And at that point, I was like, I had enough. And so I would never forget, I only had like $2,000 in my savings account, money in my 401k. And I was like, I'm quitting. Like, I'm done. Gave 2-week notice, but I didn't stay the 2 weeks. I just left. I was like, here's the keys. I am done. Left.
How did it feel?
Amazing. Nerve-wracking, but it also felt amazing because at this point, I knew I wanted more. And that was my why. Why I needed to, at this point, bust my ass and figure out really what I want to do. So real estate. Real estate was it. I signed up for the class, and it took me 3 attempts to pass the exam. And I was going literally every other day. I was not giving up. In tears in my car, like, I have to pass. Finally passed, got my certificate. And ever since that day, I just put my foot on the gas and did not look back. And
I
just
remember
kept
how
going.
exciting that was. I failed by 3 points the first time.
Oh my God.
I aced it the second time. And I'm not a big weed smoker, but I ripped that bong so fucking hard. My buddy came over. My neighbor from New York. He was doing this whole road trip, and he just came by at the time. And honestly, I was dating someone, and I kind of just broke it off with her. So I was like, bro. Well, I broke it off with her before the second exam, but he just happened to be there. So I was like, dude, stay by me.
Yeah.
Let's like talk a little bit.
Yeah.
I passed the exam, and I get stoned off my ass to celebrate. Listen, I earned it. It is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. I'll never forget the first time that I actually failed. Jackie was waiting outside with flowers. She swore I was going to pass, and I just started crying like I failed the test. But yeah.
What did it feel though when you passed it?
Incredible.
It's awesome.
Incredible.
It's not like we're taking an MCAT here. Like, it's not that difficult of a test.
Right.
But regardless, you're on to the next stage.
Yeah.
And it's just, you're done with all of that nonsense, having to put my glasses on that scanner to make sure I don't have a camera in there, and all the proctoring and yada yada yada. So it was nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it was actually exciting for me too.
I imagine it was. So going on, there was no bong involved, I imagine.
No.
Fine, just red wine. So moving on so now you're at the beginning.
Yeah. Joined Keller Williams.
Okay.
Joined Keller Williams, and the first 30 days, Keller Williams is very known to train their new agents. And
Definitely.
so the first 30 days, I just focused on their classes and being involved with the office and doing the activities that they recommended. And within the first couple months, I got my first rental deal. And of course, instead of blowing that money off, I invested it in a product that I can use to build my real estate business. And then I just continue to do that. And so every time I have a commission check, what else can I put this towards my business? Not necessarily myself. It was a struggle. But that's just what I continue to do.
And when you say your business, you mean towards marketing or anything that you can do to make the business bigger?
Correct. Because, my mindset was, I'm not a real estate agent. This is my company.
Right.
yes, I'm doing real estate, but this is my company. I'm the CEO of my company. And so what do? Right? You just continue to invest in your business.
That attitude's so important because I think a lot of people, especially coming from a 9 to 5, they think that because they're working under the umbrella of Keller Williams, they're an employee.
Right.
And they can't shift that mindset of you're working with a company, not for a company.
You're not working for the
So
company.
you give them a cut of the money.
Right.
You're using that company as the company that you brand with, but ultimately they're not paying you a salary.
No.
If you don't show up for 3 weeks, so be it.
Right.
Unless you're on a team, there isn't anybody looking over your shoulder saying, "Hey, Melissa, you coming in tomorrow?"
Right.
You've been on vacation for a while.
Right.
Been having a lot of wine.
Yeah, it's nothing like that. That's for sure. You definitely have to really, figure out what you want to do in the real estate business. And so that was my thing. I wanted to make this into a company.
Right.
And so, my first year in real estate, I did very good. I capped. That's something that Keller Williams.
First year?
First year.
Wow.
I capped.
That's awesome.
Brought in $3 million in a quarter my first year in real estate.
Fantastic.
And then it just continued to grow after that. So.
That's terrific.
Thank you.
I didn't cap my first year. Definitely was a
okay.
good year. But that's amazing.
That's
That's
okay.
incredible. Yeah. My coach made 13 grand his first year.
Wow.
And he's making a hell of a lot more at this point.
I'm sure. Yes. I mean, he's coaching you for a reason, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's making, thank God. So now, okay, so you've been in real estate for how long? How many
It's
years?
going to be 7 years. Actually, 7 years in November, December.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
7 years.
starting my second, so I'm definitely more of a newbie. So at what point did you take the money you were earning and invest it into Airbnb? When did you find out that Airbnb was something you'd wanted to do?
So, actually, what I did was instead of purchasing an Airbnb right away, I bought my own property. That was the first investment. And then I will never forget. I don't know if you heard of Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Sure did.
He's not fond of real estate. However, his whole motto is have your money working for you.
He's not fond of real estate?
Now he's coming around. He's coming around. He's more about.
I remember him being okay, I guess.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I know when I
read the book, so I don't.
Yeah, when I found out about that, I was so shocked because I'm reading the book again. And so I had a lot of people saying, yeah, he's not fond of
My
real
mind is
estate.
totally like running circles because I remember him specifically saying real estate was a good.
I remember reading the book. Anyways, I was reading the book, and I'll never forget.
Okay, maybe.
He said, have your money working for you. Don't work for your money.
Right.
And so I had all this money sitting in my savings account, and although I had my broker and I had money invested with him, I had money sitting in my bank account doing nothing. So, I'll never forget. Jackie was in the living room watching TV, and I jumped to the living room and I bring out the laptop and I'm doing my research and I'm Googling stuff and trying to figure out about Airbnb. Prior to that, though, we did go to an event. We went to an event that spoke about Airbnb. So I was excited at that point. So then that's why I started reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. How can I invest my money? Whatever. And, I was on my laptop and I said, Jackie, we're going to Orlando, this weekend. It was a Wednesday night. And she was like, what? And I'm like, we're going to Orlando. So we're leaving. And I'm the type of person when I say we're going to do something and I'm going to do it, buy a property, I'm doing it. So that's exactly what happened. We got in a car that weekend, went to Orlando, met with an agent. She was so not excited to really get the deal done. And
Why?
I don't know. I don't know if it was because I'm a real estate agent. And so I didn't understand it. Her drive was very blah. And I'll never forget. We were about to leave a property and I told Jackie, no, I have to see if there's another property available here. I love this area for Airbnb.
And you came all the way out there.
Yeah.
You drove 3 hours, yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, when I say I'm gonna buy something and do something, I'm gonna do it. So I'm I'm gonna go to the front desk, I'm gonna get access to this unit that's available, we're gonna look at it and we're doing forget her, she can leave. So she left and I did that.
Oh, the agent literally.
She literally she left.
Why, though?
She didn't want to continue. She was just there's nothing else to show. I got to give 24-hour notice. You know how it is as a real estate agent.
First of all, this whole 24-hour notice,
Yes.
nonsense. Meaning there are some agents that are it specifically says
Right.
24 hour. I don't give a shit. If
Try to ask.
Meaning, yeah, what does it hurt to ask? And I think maybe there was one time where they were like put their foot down, but every other time, I remember one agent was like, "I really need more time." My client, I'm like, "Listen, let's get the deal done."
Right.
Yada yada. It's just like be able to have that
Right.
communication. There's a lot of ways to take another route if you try it.
Right.
Worst case scenario, okay, I'll give 24 hour
Right.
notice.
Well, I didn't want to hear that. Just like you
Right.
said, it's total BS. So I saw the property, made an offer in the parking lot, and I was on top of it, got the property. Obviously, offer was accepted. And that was my first Airbnb. Like at that point, I said, okay, I don't really know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm going to figure it out. And I know that this is going to be good.
You jumped in the pool.
Yeah.
And then from there, you're just kind of forced to sort out what you need to.
Yeah, well, because I knew, I said, I was not, and I still am not satisfied because I always want more. That's just how I am. I want more for myself, for my family. So with real estate, just selling houses, I wasn't just satisfied with that. I knew that I wanted more, and I knew that I need to start somewhere. So that was my first property. And
What was the mortgage rate at the time?
my interest rate for the Airbnb was under 4%. What I did was, instead of doing it as an investment purchase, it was considered my second home, which was a great idea because I was able to save money on my interest rates. So I think I got it like at 3.6. At the time, interest rates were really high. It was over 4.25.
Wow.
So that was good, and yeah, it took off from there. I had to renovate the place. It was
How much did you
ugly.
put into renovations?
So with the furniture and renovations, it cost me about $15,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not so bad.
No,
But-
you got to invest in your
Sure.
your
I thought
business.
you were going to say like 40 grand or something.
No, it was only no. I bargained.
How much
and
did you pay for the entire property?
135. 135,
Okay, so
and today it sells
How many bedrooms?
2 bedrooms, 2 bath.
Okay.
I'm a firm believer of the 2-2, and the reason why I chose a 2-2 is because my family and we love to go to Orlando, and so there's 4 of us, and if we ever want to stay there, we have a 2-bedroom. So that's how I look at these properties when I purchase Airbnb.
Yeah, you
it needs to
mentioned
be
this also.
somewhere that I and my family love to enjoy. So yeah.
That's such good advice because I never thought of it that way until I
Yeah.
heard you say it. If you have places all over the world that you want a vacation and you're setting up these hubs as investments,
Yep.
so whenever you're not there, you're making money.
Yeah.
And whenever you are there, you know that vacation, that stay is free
Yeah.
because you've been profiting for the rest of the year off of that property. So it's
Exactly.
fantastic. It's pretty much you going there for free.
Yep. And we did. We
fantastic.
got to experience it several times, and it feels great. All we have to do is pay our cleaning lady to clean the place again for the next guest. But yeah.
Do you ever? Here's a funny perspective. It just came to mind. You were mentioning that you used to clean toilets.
Yeah.
When you see the woman cleaning your Airbnb, I definitely know for a fact you don't look at her in a disrespectful way.
No.
But do you kind of think of yourself that you were once doing that and now you own the property that she's cleaning?
It's such an incredible feeling to know that I've, like I mentioned this in my other live video. It's like that show Made. Have you watched that on Netflix?
No, I haven't.
There's times where I wanted to give up. Like, I'm like, man, this is, it's tiring. I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. And, for my son, I couldn't. So, yeah, when I look at, people that are having to clean toilets and stuff and do all this, like, I appreciate them so much because I know what it was. Like, that was me,
Sure.
So, yeah, no, but my cleaning lady she's smart. She was actually a bartender when I met her at that property that I purchased, and she did cleaning part-time.
Okay.
And so she met me. I loved her energy. I said, hey, you want to clean for, you do this part-time. Why don't you do it full-time? And she started doing full-time for me, and
But what about bartending?
she quit because I was super busy with Airbnb.
Huh.
She quit, and she ended up making a business out of this. So now she doesn't clean the toilets anymore. She hired other people. It's a domino
I'm
effect.
sure you had an influence on that.
Yeah, well, of course I have.
And did you tell her you used to do it too? Or you didn't have that
No,
conversation?
I never really spoke about all of this until recently. Now I'm okay to talk about my past. I used to be a little embarrassed. But for what? I'm proud of where I am today, and it was because of my past. So I'm open to talk about it. She doesn't know now; she will, I'm sure. But yeah, because of our Airbnbs, because we have more than one in Orlando, she was able to grow and make a business out of this.
It's awesome.
It's amazing. Like, I love seeing that for her, you know?
I agree. I was a waiter for about 8 years. Wasn't too difficult. I just worked so many jobs.
Yeah.
So many jobs. I started at about 15.
Okay.
And I was working in a lot. I grew up in a Jewish neighborhood. Because
Okay.
I grew up more Jewish. I'm Jewish and Italian, but I grew up on the Jewish side. So we did a bunch of different events, all different kinds of events. And I did that for, like I said, about 8 years. So whenever I see a waiter now, I'm not an asshole to the
Right.
waiter. I have this really understanding appreciation for
Have
them
to.
because
That
I
was you
one for-
once.
I was
Yeah.
doing that for a long time.
I get it. I was a waitress as well. I did everything just like you said, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I was a waitress at 15, 16. My mom had her restaurant business. So I'm the same way when I go out. I'm very understanding. So I get it.
Absolutely. So now some more questions about
Sure.
Airbnb. What did you learn? What were the major things you've learned about it as opposed to owning, say, other rental properties or doing burrs or flips? What kind of solidified your choice to stay in Airbnb, and what are some of the big lessons you've learned?
So the whole entire hosting thing, being involved with the guests, you know, really not just having someone stay in the place and like, okay, thank you for paying me for staying here. No, like creating an experience for them and hearing them talk about it. Like, to me, that was very, I hate to say the word addicting, but I gravitated to that. Like, I love and I enjoy making people happy with things that I put together and that I come up with and be creative with and have them talk about it and enjoy it, you know? So with this Airbnb, I was able to learn how to be creative with certain things, like down to the guest book, down to, you know, in our Airbnbs, we have a world map, and I have my guests put little pins of where they came from.
Does the sink dispense rosé? Or?
It doesn't. Not yet, but my other Airbnb does have, we have a little bar that has rosé in there.
Okay.
So
How else would somebody know? I feel like at some point, once you own 20, 30 of these Airbnbs in different parts of the country or the world, you'll have your own Melissa touch to it, where people
Yes.
will literally know. It's
they'll
one of
know,
your,
and that's the whole idea. That's what it's.
that's
supposed
what I would want to do. I
Yeah.
want to create some sort of something on the wall or
Yeah.
something where people go, oh, okay, that's cool. He owns another place and whatever.
Yep.
So this way they know what they're kind of getting into. They know there might be some sort of gift or it could attract certain people. Yeah, I think that's
So that's why all of my Airbnbs are called Deja Blue. So there's Deja Blue 1, 2, and 3. And all of the units have this touch of blue on the walls,
Very
like
clever.
an accent wall. And then we have the world map where guests have to put a pin of where they came from. And most of the time I tell them, tag us and take a picture. But I love when I go to the Airbnbs
That's so
and I
smart.
see the world map and pins all over the place. I'm like, my kids, they get excited. Look, someone came from Japan. Someone came from here. Like, it's just so cool.
That's so smart. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
inspiring to see that.
For sure.
It's like, we got to go there next. We got to go to Alaska. We got to go, you know.
And also, if you get to know these clients.
Yeah.
If you're ever in that country, you can contact them. They can
Yes.
help you with an itinerary.
I've connected with people who are also Airbnb hosts, and they're like, hey, when you come to Costa Rica, which we're headed there in December, they're like, stay in our Airbnb. We'll take care of you. You know, it's
Great.
cool.
It's
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, so what are some other key points, things that you advise to do, that you advise not to do? If somebody's starting out, what immediately comes to mind?
You need to educate yourself. You can't just jump into the Airbnb platform. Educate yourself, and what I recommend is go to events, learn the systems, the tools, and everything. But if you are already in Airbnb, you started the process, what I recommend is just being creative.
Well, how much can you know? How much can you know? Because when you said you bought your property, just to challenge you a little bit,
Yeah.
you said you had no idea.
I had no idea.
But you don't suggest that about other people.
No, don't make that mistake. I got lucky because it's all about the thing with the platforms. It's all about your reviews. That's the only way you're going to get multiple bookings and you're going to have return guests, or you're even going to be successful. So the reviews matter. And if you don't know what the hell you're doing, you're getting all these bad reviews. First of all, they will kick you off the platform, and there goes your investments. Like, you got to figure out how you're going to,
make it worth it.
Make it work. Yeah, you have to.
So the question always is, when you talk about being prepared, how do you gauge preparedness? Like, how much do you really need to know before you jump in? Because with anything, you're still going to have to learn on the field.
Yeah.
So you can read and watch videos and watch your videos,
and
it's going to help tremendously.
Yeah.
At the same time, as somebody who's never invested, you're never going to be fully ready. So you're always going to have to take that.
I'm still not ready. There's still things I'm learning.
There's never,
So, if you're really wanting to do this, okay, you're going to jump in. You may have some hiccups. Just learn the damn platform. That's the basics. The platform. Figure out how you're going to message your guests. Figure out how to even adjust your pricing of the Airbnb. Look in the area and see what activities. The first advice I should have actually gave was, when you're looking for an Airbnb, you need to look in areas where it's busy and attractive. Okay, some people feel like, okay, I'm just going to list my condo in, like I mentioned, Coral Springs, for example. What's happening in Coral Springs right now? Really not much. So you're not going to get much activity. So you have to be creative about the area. So what area is really busy? Really look into that first, actually, is my advice.
Okay. That's very sound advice.
Yeah.
What are some other things? Or what are some things you would advise strongly not to do?
Strongly not to do. There's a lot I can say strongly not to do.
Go on.
I strongly recommend that you do not purchase a property that your first investment, by the way, to be a $700,000 property, and you know nothing about Airbnb, because you're setting yourself up for failure. Remember, you still are responsible for that mortgage, right? If you don't get bookings, you see people who they get emotionally attached because the property is beautiful, and you get emotionally attached, and then you make mistakes. That's one thing you should not do as an investor.
Yeah,
take your emotions out of it.
Yeah, you're not living there. This is a totally different animal.
Totally. So you have to be careful, because if you get emotionally attached to that property because it's beautiful, and you spend $600,000, $700,000, $1 million on this property because you feel like, oh my God, this is so gorgeous. Did you do your research? And I've heard stories, people fail.
Wow.
Tremendously. Yeah. So.
It's very good advice.
Yeah.
So what are other things that you can think of that wouldn't be the best idea?
Putting your property on any platform if it is not ready. When I mean by ready, staged. Okay, I go through Airbnb listings and I look at these pictures, and people they put up their listing of their home looking as basic as possible with their cell phone pictures.
Oh, there's so many people do that with listings.
That's another thing. Do not do that.
I think some people really need a coach, and that's where I'm sure you come in to take a look at their place and be like, no, no. Turn the lights on, open the windows. This needs pizzazz. It needs flavor.
You need some touch. You need some love. You need some spunk. Like, you need to have. You want someone to look at the pictures and feel like, oh my God, I want to experience that. I want to go there. So that's one thing don't do, is take pictures with your cell phone and make sure your house is staged. If it's not staged, don't put it up.
I don't know why this isn't common sense, but I guess people they just don't know what they don't know.
No, right.
Some people, it comes naturally to certain people.
Right.
So I think that's where the plus is. Like when I even if I'm listing a cheaper property, I still know I'm going to do professional pictures. It changes the game.
Yep.
So if it's with the podcast, even I know the quality of the mics aren't as good as they can be. I'm going to get better mics. Even the camera quality could be. There are things that can be better, but I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
So it's something that's going to happen.
That's the thing. You just said it. I didn't know that this wasn't good quality. I don't know
well,
anything
it's not bad,
about
but it's not.
Yeah, but it looks fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just like when someone goes into your listing, I'm not saying you can't have cheap things. Just make sure it looks nice.
Right.
You know,
Right.
believe it or not, I go through thrift stores and I find great stuff and I put it in my Airbnbs, and no one will ever know I spent $10 for it. You know, when it really looks like
As long as you present it well.
Present it well.
I always say you can have a guy who buys a $3,000 suit, but if he's out of shape and the suit doesn't fit right, it'll look cheaper than a guy who's wearing a $100 suit, but he's fit. And it goes that same way with men or women, obviously. That cheap suit will look a hell of a lot more expensive and nicer if the guy's fit and it's fitted.
Yep.
So
I agree.
it's just, it's a good point. So we know some do's, we know some don'ts. Mm-hmm. What are some of your bigger plans now? I know you want to expand, you want to buy more property. What are you thinking? What are your plans?
I will. So we currently have 3, and they're all in, they're areas that we want to stay in. So we have another one near Universal Studios. This other one's near Magic Kingdom. I actually today was looking for another one in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because we want to go there. Jackie's grandma lives out there. So when we go visit, we can stay by the beach and also Airbnb it out. My goal, though, is to have a minimum. I remember saying I wanted 6 Airbnb listings, but this is so much fun. So now minimum, I would say maybe 15 minimum. Because it's really not difficult if you're enjoying it. It doesn't feel like a job. It's so much fun. So I'm like, why would I stop at 6? And I say 15. It could change again. But I want it to be in all different places in the world.
Once you have 15, I'm sure you're going to want more than that.
Oh, yeah. Like if I can have, and I even want to expand out of the country.
Sure.
I want to, everywhere that I can think of where I like to travel.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. And then once you have, the passive income is going to be fantastic.
So, so the reason why I say 6, my plan is every Airbnb has to pay for something in my lifestyle. Mm-hmm, right? Mm-hmm. So one Airbnb is paying our mortgage in full, where we're not paying it at all. One Airbnb is paying our maintenance for the property we live in. And then one Airbnb is paying for our lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So the next Airbnb would pay for something else that we love and, to do. Maybe travel, So it has to go. That's why I said 6, because we do love to travel. I love to shop. I love nice things,
Jackie's laughing.
I love nice things, and I don't want us having to worry about a mortgage or anything. So
sure, yeah, without a doubt. The feeling of an asset paying for your lifestyle,
amazing,
is such an amazing feeling.
While it's also paying itself off. So remember, these are all I have loans on them, but they're being paid off by the guests, and it's also paying for our mortgage where we live. So it's great. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have a lot of good debt, but it's good debt.
Yep, great debt. The one debt you should have is real estate.
A lot of people. That's also another conversation. Is a lot of people are afraid of that because they look at debt as debt, but that's debt that's going to make you wealthy.
Yeah.
People have it's a scary thing to think about.
Yeah, I'm sure.
How much did you kind of have when you bought your first? Meaning, I think it's a valid question for people. How much of your money did you have to put in towards the down payment?
Sure. I used a total of $40,000. That included me flipping the place and staging it and everything.
Okay, so 25 down and about 15.
Yep.
And you said you bought it for $135. Okay.
$135, and remember, I'm a real estate agent, so I got commission from my deal. So
how much did they give you?
So you get 3%. Well, now everyone's doing 2.5% because of what's happening. It's crazy, but whatever. 3%, and so that also, like my real estate people out there, take advantage of that. You're getting that money back. Use that towards your investment. So I think I got almost $5,000.
It's awesome.
I hate math. Honestly, I don't know.
Me too.
Do the math. 135 times 3%. I don't know. I think it was
There's so many people watching this that literally got it in 2 seconds.
Probably.
But yeah, I'm also not.
I can tell you how much money I'm making, but to sit here and break it down, you're not going to get that, especially when I'm drinking.
$4,050.
Yeah. Okay.
Either way, that's a nice percentage.
Yeah.
Of, you said $40,000.
Yeah. And then I also,
Still, it's nice.
it's nice. Yeah. I also negotiated with the seller during the inspection period, so I believe, if I can remember, I got another like $2,000.
$6,000 off 40,
Yeah.
so we're talking 32K.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
No, not
It's
at all.
not bad at all. And how much do you get a lot of the time for this unit?
So I profit close to $4,000 a month. Well, I bring in 4,000, and after paying the mortgage, so it's over 3,500,
What's the mortgage?
like 5 something, not even.
500 something?
Yeah, it's really
Killing
cheap,
it.
right? Super
Killing
cheap.
it.
Yeah. So it's
It's amazing.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
amazing. I cannot wait to do this. It's amazing.
I can't wait for me to help you do this. Like,
Thank you.
And then when you get your first one, you're like, Melissa, like I have clients
Oh,
right now.
I know myself. I'm going to be so
Yeah.
crazy about getting more of them. Oh my God, it's going to
I
be
just
crazy.
love those text messages. The people that I help, I want another one. I want another one.
Oh, I'm
let's
gonna
do
want
it. Let's
so
go.
many of them.
Because they're doing great,
Just when I know that any income I make from selling real estate is additional income, where my expenses are already covered, I'm not in that position yet, so I cannot
You will be
wait.
soon.
I will. And I can't wait for that. God, my cat is killing me.
Oh, man.
Well, like once, if I go to the gym and I sweat it out,
You'll be fine.
or I go and shower, it's totally fine. But not the end of the world. Yeah, she's good though. She's a good animal. So okay, so other than the do's, the don'ts, your first property, is there anything else you can think of for somebody that's starting out that essentially comes to mind right away as to what you suggest?
So, I think about it. Some people are like, well, I don't have $40,000 in my bank. Like, all I have is like $6,000. You could still invest that into doing Airbnb. Well, how? Rent a property. And you can literally rent a property and put it on the platform and make money from that. You got to ask for permission because
Well, who allows that though?
you're
You're talking about legitimately, or like under the
Sublease.
table right now?
No.
'Cause, like,
so
to me-
don't do anything illegal. You have to ask permission and put it in writing on your lease agreement that the landlord agrees for you to sublease.
But why would a landlord want that? They don't, because they're happy with what they're getting,
Right.
and they don't have the patience or time to try to do it. I mean, if you can do Airbnb, why not do that?
So
It's hard
there's
to
a
understand.
lot of owners, especially in Orlando, who live out of the country, and they don't know that you can manage your property on your own. They usually most of the time go through the actual maintenance company who charges like 40%. So they don't see the value of still using it as short-term renting. So then they put their rentals, with an agent to rent it for them.
Okay.
And so they rather just make $1,500 a month instead of having to deal with a maintenance company and all this other extraness that comes with it.
But even the
While
maintenance
being out of the
company, yeah, but
country.
they'll still make more money that way.
Yeah, well, I hear you, but they don't get that, and it works for me. See, because I rent a property and I have it on Airbnb. And we pay $1,500 a month, and after all of our profits, we're bringing in $1,000 extra.
Where do you find these? She's like,
I
I can't
have-
tell you.
Yeah, you have to come to my event. So that's
Oh,
why I'm doing an
nice,
event.
nice game,
Yes.
nice play.
Yep.
It's fair. It's fair. Fine. I'll do
You
it.
got to come to the event. November. I think we just found a venue yesterday. I'm going to announce when, but
So it's amazing. That's
Yeah.
what I wanted. That's great. It's a great way to start.
yeah, I have people that,
I
I
can't
don't
believe these owners. Like, what kind of?
Yeah, I know.
Here,
It's
rent
okay.
my property so you can profit off my property.
Yeah. But you're not going to always have that. So you also have people here in like Fort Lauderdale or whatever. They're like, nah, you got to give me an extra $200 a month and then you can use it for Airbnb. Give it to them if you're going to profit $1,000
course.
more. Period. Because some people don't have that energy to put into Airbnb. Like, it's not easy. You can't just put your property on the platform and like, oh, I'm making money. No, you have to engage. You have to do certain things. So not everyone wants to deal with that. They rather get their
Guaranteed
secure,
money.
guaranteed monthly income. That's it.
Well, as they say in Portuguese, fuck that.
Right.
Yeah, I hope it's cool. I mean, I don't know if I imagine you sometimes once in a blue moon throw out curse words. So I think.
No, I'm
hopefully
fine with it.
'cause
Listen.
I noticed you've been keeping things very kosher in that department. So
Well, because
maybe.
my kids, they hear me drop the F-bomb sometimes. I tell them you don't
okay.
repeat it, so it's all good.
Okay. No, just because as my podcast, I the best part about it is that I
Yeah.
get to be as naturally
yourself.
myself.
Be yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so are there any other things you wanted to cover?
No, I mean, I think you asked pretty much. I mean, is there anything else you want to know? I know you're wanting to get into the field. Is there anything else that comes to mind?
I know that for me, it's just a matter of the right time. Now, when I mean that, I simply mean just having the real estate business bring me more of an income. Because I'm not trying to take on a mortgage like that unless I know that things are starting to pick up, that my clients are coming in. Obviously, there can be dry spells, but once I see that I'm at least having a deal a month, 2 deals a month, then I'm going to be like, okay, I got this. People are starting to really get to know me. The podcast is a great platform for that. So once it gets big enough, I know I'm going to get business from that alone.
Yeah.
And I already have, not indirectly, because anyone on my social media is constantly seeing every single week there's a podcast.
Yeah.
So they remember me.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
oh,
the way to
Rafi,
do
another
it.
podcast, another podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm staying top of mind. So that's my indirect marketing, if that makes
So
sense.
you said real quick, because everyone, a lot of people are watching this, and I want to, clarity is power, right? We learned that with Bold Laws, with Keller Williams. You said that you want to make sure you can take on a mortgage, so you want to get more deals. So remember, you're not taking on the mortgage anymore. Your Airbnb, and that's just not Airbnb. There's VRBO. There's other platforms.
Well, when I mean that, it's really, a lot of it is also the down payment, but I hear that.
Yeah, down payment is all you have to worry about. Listen, I always tell my agents, real estate agent friends out there, as soon as you get that nice big commission check of average is 6 to 20,000, put it to the side. And once you get to 25, 30,000, now start looking for property.
It's very good advice.
That's it.
And that's true, because once you have the down payment, you have the that leads me to a great question. That's what I wanted to ask you. Now, okay. So, but once you have the down payment, you get the property. All you have to really make sure is that the property, the pictures are good, it's appealing, it's in a location that people would want to go to.
Yes.
Once you have those guests and you have the great reviews and you become a super host, then you know that you're going to have that constant, full month of people. How do you initially guarantee that you have a steady flow of people, because you do have to pay off that mortgage? So long, other than what we mentioned, other than the place looking immaculate, it looks nice, it has flavor, it's in a good place.
How
what
do
are
I make
other?
sure I get those bookings,
Right.
right? So I have a system, and I have tools in place, which you have to come to my event to find out what I'm using. But that system is what's generating and helping while I'm sleeping at night. It's actually telling me, well, it's telling itself, there's competition over here, and this is the price of what they're paying. So you need to be at this price. So this is where we're going to be. And you're going to get bookings before that listing because you are priced right and they are not. But I cannot say because I want you to come to my event.
I thought the podcast would be enough to get these secrets.
No.
Wow. Damn. Okay.
Nice try, though. You got to come to the event.
Fine.
All right.
Okay. So I think that pretty much covers it all, though. If there's anything else you can think of.
No, this was fun. And I don't like talking, well, although I don't have no one in front of me besides Jackie and you. I don't like talking on the camera and stuff, but this was actually really cool, really fun. You made me feel comfortable.
Awesome. I'm glad
So
to
thank
hear.
you. Thanks for
My
having
pleasure.
me. And yeah, can't wait to do it again.
It's definitely going to be a while.
Yeah.
Because I'm always having a new guest now for the time being.
Good for you.
But I had a great time. Thank you so much for coming,
you.
Melissa. Thanks for joining Jackie as well, even though you're in the background. And I hope you guys gained a lot from the episode. And yeah, part of me, dudes and dudettes, I'm just a little out of it because of my animal allergies. But don't forget to subscribe, like, share, check out Melissa's content. If you are in South Florida, go to her event. We'll drop some info on that. And check out her Instagram. She has, like we mentioned, what she calls Thirsty Thursdays, where she talks about investment, Airbnb, the wines she drinks, things of that nature. So definitely make sure to get involved. And I hope you guys got a lot from the video. Leave your comments. And I will see you next time.
Yes. Bye. Bye.